There was a time when I thought I believed that my religious beliefs would set me on the path to freedom. And it's necessary that I say it this way. I thought I believed. See, it's an interesting paradox to believe you believe something. It indicates that though you may think you trust or know something, when that belief is tested, you may find that at the core of it all, you don't really have faith in it. My faith was dependent upon circumstances, environment, culture, traditions, and fear. The fear of fire and eternal brimstone. Fear of constantly being watched by the omnipresent, omnipotent watcher that knows all of your flaws and perfections. But somewhere along the road, regardless of what you believe, I promise your faith will be tested. And to deny that faith isn't the same as failure. Instead, it awakens a realization that either you need to strengthen your resolve or resolve to believe in something or someone else. Now, when I became a young man and I took up philosophy and pondered my existence, I looked at my belief systems, and the first thing I questioned and I had to ask was, what do I believe? That was easy. I believed in an eternal, benevolent overseer who had written my life and all my deeds before they ever occurred and judged me by those merits. I believed this deity was the author of faith, knew all, had seen all, and apparently needed my money and praise to build an eternal kingdom of peace. I never quite understood how a kingdom at war with the devil for millions of years that cast out the insurgents and rebels seeking to overthrow the Almighty was at the same time said to be at peace. But as a child, I just moved on faith. I believed in a story written thousands of years prior to my birth by men who were just as mortal as I am. And yet, most of all, I believed I would suffer terrible consequences as a result of my moments of lacking faith and my inability to deny the carnal mind. I was a sinner, unworthy of God's grace, unholy, unjust, and very dispensable. There will be billions of people just like me over thousands of years, devoting their time, energies, and efforts into entering the kingdom of heaven. They fasted and prayed daily. They attended church with joy and gave 10% of all they made. I stood no chance ever even getting a glimpse of nirvana if I had to be the best and most holy of men. But then the next question hit me. Why do I believe this? This took years of pondering throughout my teens before I could put my finger on it. But I'll ask you the same question I asked myself to test my own faith. If within all outcomes of death, the reward for journeying through life was self-authored and prophesied, would your belief still define your choices? Meaning, if you could decide what happens after death for yourself and knew this, would you still follow your own belief system? For me, the answer was no, easily. I didn't believe anything purely out of love. I just didn't like the consequences of not believing. I was once told as a child, the consequences of believing in Christ and being right is heaven. But the consequences of believing in him and being wrong wouldn't matter because you wouldn't exist to care. Worse still is not believing in Christ and being wrong, because then you will be damned to hell. But this supposes that there is a finite number of possibilities. This assumes outcomes dependent on your faith still. And when I answered the question of would I still believe if I could decide for myself, I knew that none of these outcomes is what I would decide. If I had the choice between Christian heaven, singing eternal psalms and praises, and my own version of heaven, I would easily choose my own. That meant at the core of it all, my faith was dependent on best outcomes and probabilities. So then I had to ask myself the next question. What do I want to believe? Or better yet, what would I choose to believe if there were no consequences? And I wanted to touch base with this thought without trying to delude myself. It's easy to decide to believe in fairy tales with no base of proof. Kids do it every day. How could I find something to believe in that I could prove? Something tangible, something unquestionable, a truth that could not deceive me nor require me to assume its existence. After years of theology, devotion, and faith, I couldn't find that sort of truth in religion or the church, so I departed from those beliefs and searched for the answer in philosophy and information. I found that the mind too could deceive, transform, and lie. I found that not even my own thoughts were safe from scrutiny. You ever saw a ghost or shadow or something supernatural with your own two eyes and immediately began to justify it with logic? Immediately your mind searches for any truth other than what you just experienced. This is the problem with the human mind. No matter what you believe, the mind is infinitely more intelligent than your notions of faith, and it will find a way to question any thought or belief we have. You may choose to cast aside these thoughts, but that doesn't mean they don't occur. So, at the end of the day, I knew that I didn't even believe in me the way my ego had convinced me I did. In fact, that was a thought stream I pondered for years, and when the realization of the answer hit me, the search ended abruptly. What do I want to believe in? Nothing. Nothing at all. There is no tangible substance to place all your eggs in. There is no one path to self-enlightenment. There is no governing mind that can stay fixed on a single outcome. We are fluid in the mind. What we believe today, we do not have to believe tomorrow. In fact, the only thing that matters is what you believe in the now. It's the only thing that exists. Every other belief is simply a hope cast into the future with the desire that what you assert to be true will manifest your desired reality. These types of beliefs require time and faith. But to believe that you don't believe in any single outcome, that all things are possible, resolves the question. See, from this point of view, it doesn't matter what choice you make because the story is self-defined. Your purpose becomes self-defined. You act as God in your own capacity and decide for yourself what is true and untrue. You think the thoughts you enjoy. The omnipotent observer judging you day in and out becomes irrelevant because only you decide the outcome. If you believe you just got fired from a job, you can instead choose to believe you just opened up a bunch of free time to focus on building the business you fantasized about for years. I did this when COVID hit the world in 2020, and 3 months later, I was making more money for myself than painting as a contractor ever paid. If you believe you aren't skilled at a certain task, you can instead choose to believe you get to evolve through a new learning process. The challenge will sharpen your mental acuity, and the process will reward you with wisdom. Even if you believe in the God of religion, you can still believe too that men would defile and change the information for their benefit, leaving you to only rely on the source of God's presence and listen for that still quiet voice to be your compass. There is no right or wrong choice in what you believe. There are no good and bad things, only judged outcomes. But maybe that's just my belief. Maybe you don't believe a word I just said. That's your belief, though, and you're free to think it. It's your mind, and you're free to use it at ease, knowing all problems and solutions reside within the infinite intelligence it beholds. No measure of belief is as solid as the foundation of experience, because once you've reached beyond then and stepped into the now, you know the truth because you're living it.